The psychology of stupid people who think they're smart. Maybe that's you. Intro. Have you ever met someone who knows absolutely everything? They have an opinion about everything. They never admit they're wrong. They argue with experts. And somehow, they're always convinced they're the smartest person in the room. But here's the uncomfortable question. What if the problem isn't just them? What if, sometimes, you do it too? Psychology has revealed something fascinating about human thinking. The less we understand something, the easier it can be to overestimate how much we actually know. And this isn't about intelligence alone. It's about something far more dangerous. Overconfidence. Today, we're exploring the psychology of people who know less than they think they do. And one of these behaviors might sound surprisingly familiar. 1. They think confidence means intelligence. Some people speak with incredible confidence. They sound certain. They rarely hesitate. And they never say, I don't know. But confidence isn't proof of intelligence. Someone can sound extremely convincing and still be completely wrong. Your brain naturally associates confidence with competence. That's why confident people can sometimes appear smarter than they actually are. The smartest response isn't always, I know. Sometimes it's, let me check. 2. They never say, I don't know. There are 3 powerful words that many people hate saying. I don't know. Why? Because admitting ignorance can feel embarrassing. So instead, people guess. They make something up, or they confidently repeat something they heard somewhere. But ignorance isn't the real problem. Refusing to recognize ignorance is. Because once you admit you don't know something, you can learn it. But if you believe you already know, learning stops. 3. They argue instead of learning. Imagine someone explaining something, and instead of listening, the other person immediately starts arguing. They aren't trying to understand. They're trying to win. This is where conversations become competitions. The goal changes from, what is true, to, how can I prove I'm right? And once ego enters the conversation, facts often become secondary. Intelligent thinking requires curiosity. Not every disagreement needs a winner. Sometimes, the purpose of a conversation is simply to discover something you didn't know before. 4. They overestimate their knowledge. This is where the famous Dunning-Kruger effect becomes relevant. The basic idea is simple. When people have limited knowledge in an area, they may lack the knowledge needed to recognize their own mistakes. Imagine knowing just enough about a subject to feel confident, but not enough to understand its complexity. The more you learn, the more complicated the subject can become. Experts often recognize uncertainty because they understand how much there is still to learn. So sometimes, confidence doesn't mean, I know a lot. It means, I don't yet realize how much I don't know. 5. They refuse to change their mind. Imagine discovering that your belief was based on incorrect information. What would you do? Change your mind or defend it? For some people, changing their opinion feels like losing, so they move the goalposts, ignore contradictory evidence, or find another excuse. This is called belief perseverance. Once an idea becomes part of our identity, letting go of it can feel surprisingly difficult. But changing your mind isn't weakness. Sometimes, it's evidence that you're thinking. 6. They confuse information with understanding. Today, information is everywhere. You can watch a video, read a headline, see a social media post, and suddenly feel like an expert. But consuming information isn't the same as understanding it. Knowing a fact is different from knowing why it's true, and knowing why it's true is different from being able to apply it. Your brain can create an illusion of understanding simply because something sounds familiar. That's why hearing something before doesn't necessarily mean understanding something. 7. They never question themselves. Perhaps the biggest warning sign is a complete lack of self-reflection. People who constantly blame others rarely ask, could I be wrong? What did I miss? What can I learn? Self-questioning isn't a sign of weakness. It's a form of intellectual humility. And intellectual humility doesn't mean thinking you're stupid. It means recognizing that your knowledge has limits. Because every person has blind spots. The difference is, some people investigate theirs, others protect them. Final thoughts. So, are you intelligent? Maybe. But here's the uncomfortable part. Being intelligent doesn't automatically make you a good thinker. You can be knowledgeable and still be overconfident. You can be educated and still be wrong. You can be smart and still refuse to learn. The real test of intelligence isn't how confidently you speak. It's how easily you can say, I might be wrong. Because the moment you realize you don't know everything, you create space to learn. And perhaps the smartest person in the room isn't the one who has all the answers. It's the one who is still willing to question their own.